Hi everyone, thanks for joining in today. I'm Kate with Always Yours Occasions, and I am here with Cheryl. We're so glad that you're here with us on this lovely rainy day in Knoxville, Tennessee. What we're going to be doing today is talking about why we are wedding and event planners, how we came to where we are today, and then some of the obstacles that we've overcome in starting a small business.
You know, marriage is such an important facet of life, really. Most people in life do get married, and it is the foundation for the rest of their relationship with that one person that they build their family with, that they do ministry with, that they do life with. And so it is very, very important to us to be able to come alongside and undergird people.
Yes, we love being there for people to help plan and prepare for their wedding day so that they can really relax and enjoy that whole time of being engaged and that wedding planning journey, and then prepare for their marriage without feeling stressed over the day that's going to start the rest of their lives together.
So let's talk a little bit more about why we do what we do. People are just wonderful to get to know, and a lot of the rewarding things about being in the field of marriage and relationships is getting to know great people and make wonderful friends.
Oh, speaking of, hi Christina, it's great to see you on here. Thanks for joining us today. Yes, and continue, sorry.
No, that's okay. And in addition to that, we enjoy encouraging people and just
and being there for them and really helping make their day a dream come true. Part of that has to do with your own wedding day story, doesn't it?
Yes, it really does.
Can you tell us what happened when you got married?
Yes, we call it the wedding day comedy of errors now. Back then it wasn't quite so funny, but let me give you a little bit of the background to cue you into what happened. So my then fiance was in the military, and he had recently moved to a new duty station, and I was still living in a different state. So he didn't have that many friends. We didn't have that many friends in the area. We were still getting to know the people there. We had found a church that we were planning on attending together, and they were great to help us as much as they could. But in that time when we got married, this was over 25 years ago, wedding planners, wedding coordinators really were not a profession. So there wasn't anybody to really pull everything together. So we did most of the wedding planning and everything ourselves. And because of that, there were just many things that went awry that weekend. One is right before I got ready to go down the aisle, literally 5 minutes, maybe 10 at the most, I had a very interesting veil mishap, we'll just say. And thankfully I had enough forethought to pack scissors and things to get it together right before I walked down the aisle. But in addition to that, we went to our reception, and again, there was no coordinator pulling things together. And we ended up going, and all the food had been eaten, including the groom's cake.
Oh, no.
Yes. So we ended up getting there. We cut the cake, and shortly after, everybody left, and we were like, okay, what now? And what now was we ended up being our own cleaning crew because they had to get the venue ready for the next day, and the only person left besides us was the person who was literally locking up. So not exactly the best way to start out the marriage, although we did learn how to serve together and cleaning up very quickly. And
then another thing, your anniversary is on January 1st.
Yes, it is.
And I love the sentimentality behind that date. You started off your marriage on the first day of a new year, and I think that is very, very sweet. But in that small military town, it also meant that most of the businesses were closed.
Yes, they were.
You had your cars break down, both yours and my dad's, and his best friend. So my dad's best friend couldn't even loan a car. So you were pretty stranded as well. That was another big issue.
We were at that.
So thank you for joining us today. We've been talking about why we started wedding planning, what brought us here today, and then also some of the obstacles that you faced. So you've heard a little bit about why we started planning. A lot of it has to do with Cheryl's wedding story. And if you can't tell, we're mother-daughter, so we're also business partners, and it's been a lot of fun entering into that journey. And the way that we got there is that after Cheryl's wedding story, she ended up realizing that events play such an integral part in life, and the celebration with people is so important to her. She wanted people to be able to focus on that celebration and not worry about the planning of it. And so she started doing events more and more throughout the years. She's been doing events for about 20 years. And a lot of those were family events. So I remember fantastic birthdays growing up, just these wonderful themed parties with all the decor, a personalized cake that was just amazing. And then also Cheryl did events in the churches that we went to, particularly sweetheart banquets. I was always envious of those because I wanted to go. They looked like so much fun, but of course I was a child. I couldn't go.
That's true. And even as you've gotten older, you know, you're still waiting for that Mr. Right to come along. So,
hey Meredith, thanks for joining on. We're great. We're happy to see you today. Moving on from there, that's kind of what gave us the start. When I was in college at Lee University, I was studying communications, and so during that time, you had actually been asked to start coordinating weddings, and so that's how we made the transition into the wedding and event field, is you started doing a lot of those events.
I did. A lot of Kate's friends were beginning to get married at that time, and people that I was friends with had daughters or sons who were getting married, and so we ended up being asked a whole lot, or I was asked a whole lot to step in. I remember this one situation in particular. The daughter was in college, the fiance was in college, and the mom was planning the wedding, and at one point she was just so overwhelmed with details, and what I find to be a lot of fun, she was just stressing out about. And so after doing quite a few weddings in a row, several people had mentioned, you know, you really ought to do this as a business. Well, I loved it. I absolutely thrived on it. And so at that point, Kate was in college and had just graduated, and I'll let her continue with our story.
During the middle of this period, it was about a 4-year period, I graduated from college, and I started looking for jobs in the communications field, and I actually saw wedding and event planning, and I thought, oh, that looks like so much fun. You know, it's this really meaningful time for two people getting married. Marriage is one of the most important relationships in life, and I'd love to be a part of that. And I also loved the creativity of wedding and event planning, and then the structure of it as well, because for me, I'd done a lot of jobs that had structure, but not much creativity, and I really wanted to do something that had creativity in it. But during that time, there was nothing available, so I took a job in customer service and just worked for a while. And then fast forward about 2 years, at that time, people were starting to come to you and say, you should really consider doing this as a job. We know you love it. You're really good at it, and you brought a lot of peace and calm to the wedding day itself. So we decided to consider doing it as a family business, and really we took some time to think about it and to pray about it and see, is this right for us? Because if we're going to do this as a business, it's going to look really different than just doing it on a volunteer basis.
Yes, and also at that point we decided to, after getting the go-ahead with for my husband and the rest of our family, because businesses change things in life, we went back to school and we became certified wedding planners, because we decided if we were going to do this, even though Kate had a background in communications and my background was both family development and child development, and so we had a lot of information there, to get the true background education in wedding planning and have that certification behind us was so important to us. Because as a business, you know, when you hire a wedding professional, you want to make sure that you can trust them. And so we wanted to have everything that we needed, both to be able to work at any venue, to be able to work the other professionals, and that sort of thing. So
I just want to take a moment and say hi, Elisa. We love you too. Elisa has been one of our brides, and we absolutely love doing her wedding. And I also saw Jeremy pop in here. Thanks for joining us today, Jeremy.
Yes, it's great to have you both here. So anyway, we went back, we got our education and training, and then also we found that as we established our business, we wanted everything to be above board. We found, we wanted it to be professional. And so we made sure we went through all the licensing procedures that we needed to and got the insurance and that sort of thing. So that's pretty much how we got started in the business.
I want to say hi to Lydia. Thanks for joining us today, Lydia. So we'll talk a little bit now about some of the challenges that we've had to face in starting a wedding and event planning business. One of those has been just that it's very different to run a business than it is to do things on a volunteer basis, as I mentioned. And so thankfully, when we decided to become certified wedding planners, that training really helped us in knowing what to expect in running a business, but some things you just can't plan for.
No, you can't.
And some things you have to learn by experience. And so that's definitely been a very exciting ride, but it comes with a lot of unexpected things that you're working through as you start a business. And then learning also how we work together. It's a very different thing to work with family. And so figuring out what each of our strengths is and learning to play to those has been one of the things that we've been constantly growing and learning.
It really has. And in fact, we found that at one point we were doing things just the opposite of what we needed to be doing. And we thought we were working in our strengths, but we found out that we weren't. Yeah. And since we've been able to tweak things, then it's been even more enjoyable. It's great that we're good friends, and I love that she's my daughter, and even more so that we're business partners together.
Yeah.
So it's been great. I would say also, Kate, that another obstacle that we've had is being new in the wedding industry. Then even though I had done some weddings, I did not know a whole range of the vendors that are available. And Knoxville has got some fabulous vendors out there.
That's true. And so it's taken some time to really get to know all of the fantastic wedding professionals that Knoxville and the surrounding areas have, and to start getting our name out there and start figuring out how everybody works and then what they're really good at and what they're passionate about, so that we can match them with the couples that we have, so that every wedding is personalized and our couples are really happy with their vendors. So we thank you for joining us today. We've been talking about how we got started as wedding and event planners, what led us to where we are today, and some of the challenges that we faced starting our own small business. What we're going to do next is on Saturday, we're going to be talking a little bit about what it's like behind the scenes running a small wedding and event planning business. So we invite you to come along and join us at 11 o'clock. And we would love for you to share this video today and let people know what it's like starting a business and just who we are. We'd love to be able to meet you more. In fact, those of you who are watching, can you just chime in and let us know a little bit more about you?
Oh, we love you too.
We're very excited as well. We're really looking forward to this one on Saturday and getting to bring you behind the scenes of what we do. So again, thanks so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday at 11.
And remember, it's your occasion.
Make it always yours.